Well, foot drop means that this talus at this axis, the talotibial joint, is unable to dorsiflex. So dorsiflexion is lost. Consequently, when the foot is swinging forward in relation to the limb in stance, this foot is swinging forward, then he has to dorsiflex the ankle so that the toes do not stub the ground. So here what he has to do, he has to hyperflex the hip, hyperflex the knee, and the foot is dropped, and he has to move this forward in this manner so that these toes do not stub the ground. This gait is called as high steppage gait. So this is how your patient presents. Now, if there is a contracture of the tendoachilles or the posterior capsule or the plantaris, then you will not be actively able to dorsiflex. Active dorsiflexion lost. This means foot drop. And if there is, you will not be able to passively dorsiflex because of this contracture. So passive dorsiflexion lost means equinus. Now, why should this fail? This fails because the muscles which are responsible for dorsiflexion of the ankle, these muscles are the tibialis anterior, Himalayas, the extensor hallucis longus coming here, artery nerve, Himalayas are not, dry means extensor digitorum longus coming on the rest of the toes, and places means peroneus tertius. These muscles are supplied by the lateral popliteal nerve. So this is the lateral popliteal nerve. So what happens? What causes the absence of this active dorsiflexion can be upper motor neuron like cerebral palsy, Friedreich's ataxia, syringomyelia. Can be in the anterior horn cells like polio or motor neuron disease. Can be in the nerve root like spina bifida or spinal dysraphism, spina bifida occulta. Can be in the nerve which is leprosy and injury as it winds round the neck of fibula. Can be in the myoneural junction, which is myasthenia gravis. Or can be in the muscle, which is muscular dystrophy. This muscular dystrophy is special. It is called as peroneal muscular dystrophy. It is also called as Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease. So these are the reasons of loss of active dorsiflexion. Loss of active dorsiflexion. So whenever you encounter a high steppage gait, you must look for these possible causes. Now, one very important iatrogenic reason is that if you see the fibula from the lateral side, there is the insertion of the biceps femoris on this fibula, and just around the biceps femoris comes the lateral popliteal nerve, winds round the neck of the fibula, becomes anterior tibial and superficial peroneal, or deep peroneal and superficial peroneal. The superficial peroneal supplies the peroneus longus and peroneus brevis, which are basically responsible for plantar flexion and eversion of the foot. The anterior tibial or the deep peroneal supplies the Himalayas are not dry places, and this is mainly tibialis anterior. So what happens that if you give a above knee traction, above knee skin traction, and you do not protect this nerve by putting a pad here and a pad here, this nerve gets compressed. So you're given above knee traction, and when you come in the evening, above knee traction is usually given on Thomas's knee splint. So in the evening round, what you find that this lateral popliteal nerve has undergone pressure dysfunction, and this pressure dysfunction, the patient is unable to dorsiflex the ankle. So what you do, you decompress and you give a toe sling, so that while the patient is lying, supposing this is the foot, you have given a toe sling. So by the hand he is able to dorsiflex the ankle, so there is no contraction. And then you can give some drugs which may improve recovery, which are Neurobion, etc. So these are the three things that you have to do when the patient is not ambulatory. Now when the patient becomes ambulatory, then you have to prevent plantar flexion of ankle. And that you can do by what is called as a foot ankle orthosis, which is called foot ankle orthosis. Now this prevents active dorsiflexion, so that's the disadvantage of foot ankle orthosis. The other thing is that you can give him a shoe with a hook here which ties this to a spring here. So this is toe raising appliance. So foot ankle orthosis or a toe raising appliance can be given to promote normal gait so that the foot doesn't drop. And then as the nerve recovers, recovery can be charted by march phenomenon, power coming back progressively, march phenomenon, or you can demonstrate the progress of axons by monophasic, diphasic potential site, which is done by electrodiagnostic tests, basically nerve conduction tests. So you can chart the progress of recovery. Until then, you can do electrical stimulation if there is no power. First Faradic, then galvanic. First galvanic, and then Faradic as the nerve starts innervating the muscles. Then you can do active assisted exercises, active exercises, active resisted exercises. And if at the end of 9 months the power doesn't return, then you have to plan for either tendon transfer or bone block or fusion. Now this tendon transfer will restore active dorsiflexion. So this is the best. The bone block will prevent foot drop, and fusion is done if there is pain or instability, and above procedures are not possible. In pain and instability you can't do these two, so you have to do fusion, which is tibio-calcaneal fusion. So now let us consider the tendon transfers of or in foot drop. The tendon transfers in foot drop, if you are seeing the heel from behind and there is foot drop, let us say there is foot drop, there is foot drop, there is foot drop, it has gone down. Then either this can be pure foot drop without varus or valgus, this will be valgus, and this will be varus. So if there is pure foot drop, then you transfer the extensor hallucis longus into the head of the first metatarsal. So the EHL can be transferred. This is called as modified Jones. Or the EDL can be transferred similarly, which is called as Hibbs. Now EHL and EDL are synergistic muscles. On this axis, both are dorsiflexing the ankle. So they are synergistic to tibialis anterior, which has failed. So tibialis anterior has failed, and you can substitute it by EHL modified Jones or EDL Hibbs, and both are synergistic and synphasic. That means they act in the same phase. Then if there is varus, then you know that the TP is powerful and TP has to be dorsally transferred. So it is transferred circumtibially or through the interosseous space, and it is attached to the base, the lateral cuneiform. So this is TP if there is foot drop with varus, and peroneus longus if there is foot drop with valgus. Now this peroneus longus transfer to the neck of talus is called as Osmond-Clarke operation. So this is what I know about foot drop, and I ask in the examination. Well, this is an addition to the yesterday's video on foot drop. In foot drop, if you encounter a case of foot drop, one, when the patient is non-ambulatory, you decompress the nerve. That means you remove the pressure on the nerve, you give Neurobion, and you give a toe raising appliance. Secondly, patient is ambulatory and you are waiting for the recovery of the nerve. Then you give a orthosis which prevents foot drop or loss of dorsiflexion by orthotic devices. The three orthotic devices are foot ankle orthosis, BK caliper with posterior check, and toe raising appliance. And then the three operations that you do in residual paralysis of dorsiflexors resulting in foot drop are bone block, tendon transfer, bone block fusion. Now the motor units of the tendon are, I told you, extensor hallucis longus, extensor digitorum longus, tibialis posterior if there is foot drop and varus, peroneus longus if there is foot drop and valgus. And what I forgot was lateral half of tendo echalis can also be used to restore dorsiflexion of the ankle. So, three things when the patient is not ambulatory, for example, recovering in above knee, Thomas knee splint for fracture shaft of femur trochanteric fracture, decompress the LPN, Neurobion, toe raising appliance to prevent contractures, three types of calipers or orthotic devices so that the gait becomes normal when he is walking. And these three types are foot ankle orthosis, BK caliper with posterior check or toe raising appliance. The three types of operations: tendon transfer, bone block fusion. In tendon transfer, you are trying to substitute dorsiflexion of ankle, and you substitute it by synphasic synergistic muscles, which is extensor hallucis longus, extensor digitorum longus, the modified Jones and the hips transfer. If there is foot drop and varus, tibialis posterior. If there is foot drop in valgus, peroneus longus. But additionally, lateral half of gastrocnemius can also be used to dorsiflex the ankle. So add this to the previous video and your knowledge about approaching a case of foot drop will be complete.